Let's be straight. Keir Starmer's either got balls of steel or he's a deranged maniac on the verge of becoming a dictator in our great country. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Starmer's back in the country. He's only back today. He's been in Estonia on part of his world tour. He's done more dates than Taylor bloody Swift, hasn't he? But he's back. Why doesn't he spend more time at home with his wife and his family? Anyway, he's back, ready to sting pensioners again. Yes, the WASPI women this time. He promised an opposition that women would get these pension rights. He's not just promised it in some little bit of a manifesto. He's on TV. He's on the record. Not just him. Angela Rayner. What's that other woman's name? Liz Kendall. She's useless as well. And even the Chancellor now. Oh, the woman from accounts anyway, or from debt collecting, her, Rachel Reeves, they've all said these women can't have it, despite promising them in opposition they would grant it. How can they suddenly change? Did they lie, or did they just have a bit of an aberration when they were trying to get elected? I think he's a liar. I think the whole of his cabinet are liars. I mean, look at Rachel Reeves. She's been, how shall we put it, a little bit worried or scared or a bit kind of liberal in what she called herself in her CV. Look at the betrayals already, the betrayals of students over loans and fees. How about a betrayal of the farmers, the pensioners with the winter fuel allowance? Starmer is almost a crook. That's how it feels to me. He's lied to get into power. What's the point of a manifesto? I mean, I know they're never going to do everything in a manifesto, any political party, but what's the point if it's bare-faced lies? And the excuse that there's this £28 billion black hole. Okay, show us it. Tell us what the black hole is made up of. Two-tier Keir. Oh, that's funny as well. He got a bit arsey yesterday with Harry Cole from The Sun, didn't he? He doesn't like being called two-tier Keir. He doesn't like the fact we think there's a two-tier justice system. I mean, look at the way Nigel Farage is being treated. If anybody else had had a milkshake chucked at them, they'd be in prison. How come the rioters and the protesters in Southport were straight in prison almost immediately? It's faster than a game of Monopoly. But not this woman. She got a suspended sentence. I'll tell you why. It's two-tier justice in this country. That's what's going on, presided over by our one-tier dictator. Well, he's virtually a dictator, isn't he? Because he's either got a great plan and he's having balls of steel now, and in later years we're going to go, well, yeah, it was tough medicine, and as my mum says, if the medicine doesn't taste nasty, it isn't going to work. Well, maybe that's what it is. I don't think so. I'd like to give him enough rope to hang himself, metaphorically, sometimes literally. I cannot believe the bare-faced lies of Smarmer, the Starmer, the Harmer, the Farmer Harmer, all the nicknames he's got already. His approval ratings are in the gutter. In fact, they're below the gutter. They're in the sewage system. The man is a disgrace. And he's so arrogant. He stands there like a robot. He's got no charisma. And he's surrounded himself with other robots. Look at the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves. She's been on the telly today. She talks as if she's reading from a script to make sure she doesn't slip up. Liz Kendall, well, she just looks like the minister's brain is missing. I've never liked her or trusted her. Angela Rayner, I'll refer you to my last comment. Has she got a brain? What is Angela Rayner on? She now wants to concrete the whole of Britain. She wants to build a load of houses. Where are you going to get the builders from? Oh, we'll have to have some migrants. Who's going to live in the houses? Migrants. It's quite obvious. They haven't got a clue. He has surrounded himself, absolutely surrounded himself with sixth form no marks. Ed Miliband in charge of our green future. That prat can't even eat a bacon sandwich, can he? He's a joke. Mike and Bernie Winters, he's the unfunny one. He's Bernie Winters. In fact, the dog Schnobbits would do a better job. I've said it before, but it's worth repeating. And then, of course, the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, she's been wheeled out today. She's been on the telly, and she's another one on delivery. She cannot just be natural. And she gets really tight, and you can tell she's petrified, and she talks like this, and she talks like a dictator. Why don't we dress them up in North Korean clothes? We're nearly living in North Korea the way he's behaving. And of course, nobody stops him. We've got that new useless conservative leader. He's got such a majority. He can say and do what he wants. Is this what you wanted? Is this what you voted for? Well, it's not, is it? Because we didn't vote for farmers to get screwed over with the inheritance tax. We didn't vote for students to get screwed over. We certainly didn't vote for the winter fuel allowance to be taken away. And these WASPI women, we fully expected them to get compensated. And now they turn around and say, oh, no, we can't do that. Most of them knew what was going on. We can't waste. I can't believe that Chancellor when she says, yes, well, I've got to be responsible for every pound of taxpayers' money. Why don't you tell that to fucking David Lammy, who's just given 50 million pounds to Al-Qaeda, or an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. I talked about this the other day. Basically, he's given 50 million pounds to Syria. Why? How about them proving themselves first? They're still a prescribed terrorist organisation, and Lammy's given them money. Oh, we've got to be careful about the money. Well, you've given them 50 million pounds. Just doesn't add up, does it? Carbon capture, 28 billion pounds we've committed to that. How big's the deficit? You see where I'm coming from here? It's all smoke and mirrors, and it's all, I think, lies. And somebody has to get him and find out what he's up to, Starmer. Why is he doing this? Is it balls of steel? You need tough love. You need nasty medicine. And then I'm going to make Britain great again. Well, you see, Tony Blair had charisma. He could pull that off. Starmer has no charisma. He's not a leader. He's got there by accident. They never realised that the Conservative Party, after Boris's massive majority, not as big as theirs, of course, that Boris would fade so quickly, or that they would implode. So I don't think he was ever going to be the Prime Minister in the Labour group think of the future of the country. They thought by the time the election came around, he'd be gone. But no, it's events. It's events, as that Prime Minister said, that shapes politics. So he's ended up, right, as the boss, as the main man. He'll never be a leader while I've got a hole in my arse. He's just not leadership material. It's like Gordon Brown. Tony Blair, whether you liked him or not, he was a leader. And he did excite the country. I remember that first term. He did excite us all. We thought there was a brave new future. It was all about New Britannia, wasn't it? Noel Gallagher, Liam Gallagher, Blur, and all the rest of it. But he knew how to play that. What's Starmer give you? Gruel. Thin gruel, and he seems to delight in it, doesn't he? And then that's before you even think about Starmer and the X's. I talked about the fact that he's done more gigs than Taylor Swift recently. His tour's bigger than hers. Why is he hot-footing it around the globe? But the only person he didn't go and see was Donald Trump when he was in Paris. Oh, no, he didn't want to go there, did he? But he's been everywhere else, just been in Estonia. Norway. Why do we need to go to Norway or Estonia? Have you heard of Zoom? Wasting our money. Oh, yeah, but we've got to be responsible for every single penny of taxpayers' money. You bunch of lying charlatans who haven't got a clue. I wouldn't mind if you had a vision. You haven't got a vision of what Britain's going to be. Your thing is, oh, it's growth. It's all going to be on growth. The economy's crashing again. Where's the growth going to come from? You're spending money like it's going out of fashion. Look at all the money you gave to the public sector. And I come back to my point. What is the £28 billion black hole? Why are we paying for carbon capture when even green zealots say it won't necessarily work? Why are you doing this? Why did you close down the last coal-powered steel plants? Why aren't we digging that coal up? Why aren't we going for fracking? We need to build our way out of this. But instead, you're going to let a load more immigrants in. I'm all for well-controlled, managed immigration, but we haven't got that. And we haven't had it for the last 14 years, to be fair. The Tories were useless. It's a disgrace that over 30-odd thousand people are living in hotels whilst our pensioners are having the winter fuel allowance stolen off them. It's disgraceful that we're giving farmers money in foreign climes, in foreign countries, to help them go green, whilst our farmers are having their land stolen from them by Starmer and his sub-commie mates. Starmer's got to be stopped, but there won't be an election for another 4 or 5 years, unless, of course, some scandal basically breaks up this lousy government. 6 months he's been in power. He's got the lowest approval ratings ever. He's got the nicest suits, courtesy of Lord Ali. He's got a lovely pair of specs. I got mine from Saver Centre. These are 175. I've got about 5 pairs of them, so because I'm always sitting on them, right? But he's got 2.5 grand bins on his face. It doesn't make him see any better. He's the Mr. Magoo of politics. He has no vision. And he's middle ranking. He's like a middle manager, isn't he? It's just ludicrous that this man is in charge and we're meant to show him some respect. Somebody the other day on Twitter or X said you should show or respect Gaunty for the office. No. Why? I wouldn't show him any respect because he's lied. He's lied to pensioners. He's now lied to the WASPI women. Look at the students. Look at what's happening to our great country. Look at the fact we know who's going to get these new houses. How's he going to build the houses? Business doesn't trust him. Nobody trusts him. Liar, liar, your pants are on fire. And of course, there's this big thing that everybody knows about, but we're not allowed to talk about. The ultimate lie, yeah? We know what's going on, Keir. How much longer are you going to try and stop people talking about it? The latest thing, they want to basically now start regulating the internet. Why? Have you got something to hide? Look at the lies over Southport. The lies when they knew he was somebody who had an attraction to terrorism and Islamist, extreme Islamist thoughts. We were told he was just a young lad. We can't name him, blah, blah, blah. People went to prison for daring to say the opposite. I'm not saying that some of them shouldn't have done. And the yobbos who wanted to set fire to the migrants' hotel, of course. I don't blame any individual migrant trying to come to our country, but the simple plain facts are we can't have them all here. He got rid of Rwanda, but hasn't replaced anything with anything. Why don't we send them, I don't know, the Falklands, one of our territories? We've got territories all round the world. Why don't we send Gibraltar? Now the gambling companies aren't there so much. Let's send them all to Gibraltar. Let's see how the Spanish kick off about that. But it's ludicrous. We cannot keep taking people in. And because he's removed Rwanda, people now, and Rwanda, don't get me wrong, that was never going to work. We can't even send them to Calais, let alone to Africa. But it did seem to have a slight deterrent effect. But I thought it was rule Britannia. I thought we ruled the waves. Why can't we stop these rubber dinghies coming in? He's just a liar. He's so busy lying and telling half-truths and covering his tracks. He's not actually thinking about us. The first duty of any prime minister, any government, is the protection of its citizens. Is that happening? I don't think it is. And I certainly don't think we should be giving loads of money to farmers in Africa or wherever. And I certainly don't think we should be taking money from pensioners to pay for it. This latest attack on the WASPI women, the hypocrisy of it. And it's the barefaced cheek. He doesn't even seem to register. He was asked about it in the Commons today, and he said, yeah, I regret it. But it's like, no, you don't. It's just deceitful. The whole thing is deceitful. The ombudsman, it was a lady actually, but the ombudsman, independent, completely independent, she said you should give them the money, right? Now imagine if Labour was still in opposition, they'd be demanding that today if the Tories had said, no, we're not going to give it them. You don't ignore the ombudsman, and the ombudswoman has now come out and said basically that. But I saw that Rachel Reeves said, oh, yeah, well, we took on board what the ombudsman said, and then she went off on one, and we can't afford to pay it. She didn't take on board what they said. It was another barefaced lie. When are we going to change it? Oh, and there's a report today. The police are saying, oh, we could have maybe stopped the riots before they happened. We weren't intelligent enough to read the social media and see the signals. Is that going to be their excuse next time if it kicks off? Hey, I'm not saying we should kick off, but I am surprised that more people aren't protesting. We've had the farmers, and they're going to carry on, obviously. We've had the pensioners. Are the WASPIs going to come out now? Why does he think he can do all this? Did they plan all this in advance? Did they know that there was going to be so much opposition? Is that why certain things? I mean, for example, there was Rachel Reeves and that other Lisa Nandy. They're on social media today. They've been told to put out these messages saying all the positive things they've done coming up to Christmas. And obviously not mentioning the way they've attacked students, pensioners, farmers, and the ordinary working man and woman. And seen the price of a pint going through the roof. Oh, we took a penny off it. Yes, but you put everything else up. The so-called minimum wage, NI for the employers. Of course, it has a knock-on effect to ordinary, what you call working people, what I would call the working class. You've betrayed the working class, Keir Starmer. You're not working class. In your £2 million house that you've no longer got a mortgage on, and then you're scrounging. You and the rest of them, Angela Rayner included, having tickets for Taylor Swift. We still haven't had an answer about how that was possibly okay. How it was possibly okay for you to have loads of tickets for the Arsenal. Just not, or why Lord Ali gave you all these suits and why you allowed another man to dress your wife. I find this incredible. And I don't understand. I do these little videos and these podcasts. By the way, if you're listening to the audio podcast, we've now got it on video on YouTube. Look up for John Gaunt TV. I'd love you to watch it. Numbers are growing brilliantly, but we need more people to watch it. Then I can get it monetized and maybe get this going even further. I think the video looks a bit better today. I think I've begun to conquer the lighting problem with the help of my wife. It's definitely been fumbling in the dark. I've still got a bit of a fuzziness on my hair. But so if you know how to solve that, let me know. And a bit of a reflection on my bins. I bet Keir Starmer doesn't have that problem. He's probably got non-reflective plastic or whatever. But back to my point. This country is going to hell in a handcart and is only being in charge 6 months. And then they have the temerity to criticise Nigel Farage. Farage and the Candyman have been across at Donald Trump's gaffe in Florida, and they've had a meeting with Elon Musk. And I cannot believe the way Labour, and indeed the Conservatives, and all the uber liberals in the BBC, Newsnight had a whole bit about it last night on the telly. That jumped up little twit who used to be on Newsnight, he used to be on Sky at one point, who's now on the News Agents or whatever, yeah, with Emily, who I used to work with. They've really upped themselves, those things. But they had a whole debate about should Elon Musk be able to do this, and if Elon Musk gives money to reform, what will it mean? Well, I'll tell you what it'll mean. It won't necessarily all be for good, but it won't be bad either, because it will make the other parties concentrate and think, well, what do we need to deliver to the British public? I'll give you one little instance. You need to start being truthful and honest, because people are absolutely pissed off with mainstream politicians. Look what happened in America with Trump. The same thing will happen here. And if Farage does get millions off Elon Musk, he probably will end up as Prime Minister. And let's be straight, it won't be any worse than what we've got at the moment. And the liberal press are trying, they're desperate to stop it. This new thing, the online thing with the kids wanting to control X and Twitter, and they're saying, oh, it's got no, that little jumped up kid from the news agency was saying, well, it's terrible. You know, they go on programs and they can say things. And I agree on the medical side of it, some of it, but, you know, it's not regulated. We need, and so their answer is more regulation, more government. No, it's not. Like I've said about Ofcom, we don't need Ofcom. We've got an off switch. We're mature. We're adults. We should be able to watch, listen, read, interact with whatever we want to. We'll make the decision. When I buy a newspaper, I don't have a regulator saying, oh, you can't buy that one, Gaunty. You've got to buy this one. Oh, no, we're not going to allow that one to. Look at the way they've treated GB News. It's abysmal. They're trying to put it out of business. Got an advertising boycott on it as well. Why? Well, because all the advertising agents, have you ever met any of these people? They're all uber liberal tossers. They're all from the same factory. I think they're all made in a little factory in Wales. You need diversity. Real diversity is a diverse opinion, right and left. You can't all be the same, singing off the same liberal hymn sheet. Talking of which, what about the Church of England? Why isn't somebody going crazy about that? Archbishop Welby, he had to resign. He had his dog collar felt, didn't he, so to speak, over the child abuse. Now we find out the Archbishop of York looks like he's going to have to resign. He's clinging on like a limpet on Padstow Harbour at the moment, but he needs to go. He covered up for another pedo. And then you've got Runcie. He's now saying, oh, I made a mistake. I've got to disassociate myself with the Church of England. So the question is there anybody in the Church of England who's not a pedo? Is there anybody in the Church of England who's normal, who's not abusing children or abused them in the past or covering up for them? It's the same question with the BBC and the judiciary. Look at Hugh Edwards. Because of Hugh Edwards and what he didn't go to prison, right? So now the bloke who supplied him with those horrible, disgraceful, pornographic pictures of young children as young as 4, he's now using Hugh Edwards as his defence. Well, you didn't send him to prison, so you can't send me. That would be two-tier justice. What is going on? We had the thing yesterday. It made me cry listening. You could not be moved. I did a quick podcast about it yesterday, about those awful people and the torture of that little angel girl, right? Okay, the fella's got 44 years. She got 34 years or something. They should be executed. There doesn't even need to be a debate. What is the point in keeping them alive? They're not even animals. They're below animals. But oh no, the uber liberals don't want that. They want them in prison. And mark my words, in future years, they'll probably end up getting released. You know how this works. I'll give the judge his due. I think if he could have put the black cap on yesterday, he probably would have done. When he was going through detailing, and I'm not going to say it on here in case this kid's listening or watching, it was just terrible. But at least he gave them a hard sentence. But whether you get 44 years or 55 years, or in America, 100 years, sorry, pass me the cap. On. Death. Straight away. Take them out. Bang. Away. It's just, this country is just a complete and utter mess. And you know what? I do blame the Tories for this. They had 14 years and they just spunked it all up the wall, didn't they? Gave them money from PPI and the COVID and the rest of it to their mates, feathered their own nests, were total hypocrites, partied while we couldn't see our relatives as they were dying. It's just not on. And I agree with some of the things that Starmer wants to do. We do need some reform. But what we probably need now is reform. We do need Elon Musk. He's our savior. I've said it before on another podcast. We need him to revitalize Britain. That's what we need. And what we need to do as well is put the green agenda back. We cannot go all green by 2030. It ain't going to work. All the major car companies are saying it already. Car sales are going like this. Second-hand car sales are going like this. It's just student politics. Ideological nonsense. Let's get some reality. And the first reality we need is we need a leader. We need Starmer replaced. He has got balls of steel. And that's the conclusion I'm coming to. He has got guts. He has got a spine. He's just completely misguided. What he's trying to do will wreck our country. Somebody's got to stop him. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to replace him. And also because he's almost got to a stage, I said this on another podcast, where he's a dead man walking. No one will take him seriously. Maybe that's why he goes around the world. Maybe countries like Estonia or Norway listen to him. Because if the rumours are true, his wife's not listening to him. Do you understand what I'm saying here? This is just madness. And their social media, where they keep putting their MPs up, where there's obviously a script and it's been like, delete this, put your words here, your name here. And they're all singing the same tune. We can see what's happening to our country. Our country is falling apart. Nothing works. Nothing. There are some people who are working. I mean, my mate's just come out of the NHS. He's had a triple heart bypass. Couldn't be looked after better. And they looked after him brilliantly. He went home yesterday. So there are things that are okay. I mean, he had 2 delays to the operation, but that happens. But other parts of our country are just falling apart. Look, seeing the backlog of legal cases. They're now saying you might have to do it without jury service. And then the other thing, we can't have elections. So a load of council elections are going to be cancelled. I wonder why that is. It wouldn't be the fact that if we had elections in May, local elections, Starmer would basically be getting slapped all over the town halls of Britain. Wouldn't be that, would it? That he's so incredibly unpopular. And as I say, there is no opposition, which is why now I've decided I welcome Elon Musk. I hope he puts the money in. And I hope it makes them soil themselves, metaphorically speaking, into their Armani suits. They're already panicking. You can see the panic. You can hear the panic on radio. You can see it on the TV. They are scared of what will happen if Reform have money. I'm scared that Reform will mess it up because I think Farage is a great operator. The new chairman seems an okay guy, but there's other people in that. They've got a lot of professionalism to get in there. Let's put it that way. And it could all happen too quick. And then that would be a nightmare. However, I'm willing to take that gamble. We've got to get rid of Starmer and his sixth formers. Do you agree? If you do, get on Twitter. It's John Gaunt, Jongaunt. Get on Facebook, the same handle as well. Or send me an email, john@johngaunt.com. I'd love to hear from you. We're moving on with these podcasts and these videos. And after Christmas, we'll be having guests and we'll be taking calls and we'll be doing live shows and the rest of it. But just help me now. If you only listen, tune in to John Gaunt TV and watch some of the broadcasts which are now on video. And by the way, when you look at the room, no, it's not my room. It's clever play with a computer. I don't play the piano, but it's a nice house. I had a house like it once. It's kind of almost mental torture for me. I put this backdrop on. I can think, you used to be a somebody, Gaunty. Now I'm just a nobody shouting into me cheap. Well, it's not, it's quite expensive. Into me microphone here in Coventry. But I hope I'm telling the truth. I hope I'm making you think. I'm hoping I'm engaging you. I'm hoping you're thinking, yes, we've got to do something. Because we have. We have. We can't have 4 or 5 years. I mean, he wanted 10 years, didn't he? He said it'd take me two terms to sort out Britain. No, we've seen through you, Keir. It's lies, it's smoke, it's mirrors. We've seen through you. You're not a leader. And the people around you are just not up to it either. I saw you, you went to speak to our forces. They must all hate him as well. The guy is a woke idiot. Loves going down on one knee, didn't he? He wants us all down on our knees. He's the supreme leader. He's leading us to the promised land. Oh, yeah, that'll be true. Anyway, that's me. That's the rant. That's how I feel. If you'd like to help me, if you like what I'm doing, can you send me a coffee? It's buymeacoffee.com. www.buymeacoffee, or one word, .com. Donate anything from $5 upwards. It all goes to help to continue these podcasts. And I think you can see I'm true to my word. They're getting better. The videos are getting better. They're not quite there yet, but I'm doing the best I can. We're getting there, but it's down to you. I've got to say a Merry Christmas to everybody. There will be some more videos before Christmas, by the way, but I want to say a big thank you to everybody who has put their hand in their pocket and has been helping me out and helped me get to this stage, because I was down and out, basically. I was not on the streets, but I was down and out in terms of my confidence, my depression, just fed up with life. And now I'm back and I'm having my say. And the interesting thing is, I'm now hearing other talk jocks using some of my material. Carry on, lads and lasses. Carry on, because soon I'll be offered your job, but I'll be turning it down because I want to be independent. And that's why I need you to help me. www.buymeacoffee.com if you want to. All right, I'm off. I'll speak to you again tomorrow, hopefully. Until then, if you've got kids, very important this. If you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.